look, if he's ready to leave and he wants to go and move on, then that's fair enough. Like, he's done so much for this football club. He goes with my blessing. Still absolutely love the guy. One of my favourite Spurs players of all time. So that'd be the situation. And it's just something that we're going to have to deal with in terms of losing one of our most favourite players and our best player in the Premier League era. We're going to talk about Sonny first and foremost. And Matt Law says that Tottenham would miss out on as much as 75% of their fee for playing in Seoul if Son was not part of the touring squad. It is believed the fee would have halved were he to travel and not play in the game versus Arsenal and Newcastle. Sources believe the key player clause meant that it was virtually impossible for Tottenham to even consider selling Son before the Asia tour and the game in South Korea. Son left teammates and staff under the impression that he was ready to leave Tottenham at the end of last season after winning the Europa League, and there has been some suggestions that he is happy to stay till at least January. Yeah, look, we saw Sonny on the weekend in the friendly, looked in discomfort with his back, people reading into his body language and everything like that. He just didn't seem too happy on the pitch on the weekend. How do you see this kind of situation playing out?
It's hard to say. Obviously, when it comes to the preseason, we know that he had this contractual agreement that he had to play. So, of course, we're going to Korea mainly because we know that Son is probably not going to be here for too much longer, and it's the club's last chance to get as much out of our relationship with Korea due to Son's kind of status there. So that obviously makes a lot of sense. That I'm sure the kind of broadcasting deals and all the deals we have going out there and all the money Tottenham being paid, the Korean fans want to see Son when we're there. So I'm sure, I don't know whether Tottenham will be wrapping him up in cotton wool in the Luton game, making sure he doesn't get injured. It's one thing doing it for a final, but doing it for the pre-season tour, probably more important for Tottenham to do it for that. So makes a lot of sense that those deals are dependent on Son. So of course we heard he wasn't going to leave before the pre-season tour. I reckon maybe when it comes to the point you said about the report, that Son gave the impression he was looking to leave. Did he think he was going to get more offers from better teams? Did he think more teams were going to be in for him from top 5 leagues? Because I do think he wants to stay in Europe. I'm not certain he is ready for a move to Saudi or MLS just yet, albeit maybe he's more open to it now than he was before. I don't think he's ready for it. I think he still feels like he's got, a few more years in his legs at the top level. So maybe the offers haven't come in and he's thinking, is Tottenham just, at the moment, as much as I'm ready for a new challenge, I'm not ready at the moment to be going to one of these leagues where it's not as competitive and not as high level. He still wants to be playing at the top level. So maybe he feels like Tottenham is his best bet for doing that. So maybe that's why he's reconsidering. Maybe Tottenham is my, I want to remain here. I don't want to go to one of these leagues just yet. And maybe he's had a chat with Frank and he's thinking, okay, I'm happy to stay for a bit longer. But is that kind of a mentality? Look, I don't doubt Son's professionalism, his mentality, but you kind of want him to stay here because he wants to stay here rather than because he doesn't have a better offer, if that's the case. So that's obviously not the best situation if his head is already thinking, I want to leave. But we know Son's a legend. We know if he stays, I'm sure he'll get locked back in. But right now he seems to be just a bit off the pace. Maybe he had that injury on the weekend and all that kind of stuff. But I'm obviously not going to be unhappy with Son staying here, but you want him to stay here because he's believes in the project and all that kind of stuff rather than because he hasn't had any offers. I think that's kind of how I feel about the Son situation. But yeah, I do kind of leaning towards he is probably more likely to stay now because I don't know if we're going to get any offers from any top 5 leagues, which he's going to be happy with, I think.
Yeah, I'm just undecided on this. I really am. Me personally, I really want him to stay, and I think him staying for one more season would be the benefit to us. I think the benefit to him. I think we don't have. Well, we do. We got Romero, we got Maddison, and Vicario, who form part of the leadership group. But Son was like the figurehead of that, wasn't he, in terms of the leader of this club? And I feel like it will do him and particularly the club, the world of good to have him around next season. And I think that Frank can get the best out of him. It's just whether Son still wants to be here next season or not. That's what it boils down to. And if his fitness can hold up, just seems like for the last 6 months, something wrong keeps going on with his fitness in various different parts of his body. So is that age catching up to him? I don't know. He's not even that old, like in terms of that. So I am concerned about his fitness, to be honest. And if we do have other players that can take a burden off him, like Matisse Tel can, then maybe we can manage his minutes massively next season and he'll still be a big service to the club.
Yeah, for sure. So I still think he's got a lot to give, but it's about what he truly wants and about what offers he gets and about the role Frank sees him playing. I kind of feel it's more likely he stays than not, but I also just, it's not great that he's kind of looking like he's ready to leave and circumstances outside of kind of his control might lead him to stay. Is that a great situation to be in?
No.
Probably not.
No. Look, if he's ready to leave and he wants to go and move on, then that's fair enough. Like, he's done so much for this football club. He goes with my blessing. Still absolutely love the guy. One of my favourite Spurs players of all time. So that'd be the situation. And it's just something that we're going to have to deal with in terms of losing one of our most favourite players and our best player in the Premier League era. But if he wants to stay, then I think he can be a really valuable asset here.